Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Acting and Modeling Success Summit 2012. We have almost 2,000 people registered to attend today. It's an amazing, amazing event with 14 incredible speakers and our host, Aaron Marcus. And I'm just going to introduce Aaron here. He is America's premier acting and commercial modeling career coach. He's also a top-selling author and founder of HowToModel.com, one of Google's top-ranked acting and modeling career sites. Aaron Marcus has been a full-time actor and commercial model for over 26 years. To date, he's been cast 1,181 times. You've seen Aaron in projects such as Burn After Reading, Law and Order: Criminal Intent, The West Wing, Crybaby, America's Most Wanted, Molson Beer, McDonald's, Kmart, A Modest Suggestion, HBO's The Wire, and Disney World. Aaron Marcus has appeared in print ads throughout the United States, Europe, the Netherlands, and Asia. Aaron has written what many consider the most important book for commercial modeling, entitled How to Become a Successful Commercial Model, and it's now in its 5th edition. He also writes and publishes the Tearsheet newsletter, a quarterly commercial modeling and acting newsletter. Aaron, wow, welcome to the summit today. We're excited you're our host.
It is so great to be here, Joel. Thank you very much. First, I want to welcome everyone and tell you how excited I am to be hosting the first of its kind, the Acting and Modeling Success Summit of 2012. This will be an amazing day with incredible guests who will be offering really helpful acting and modeling information for all of you. Now, I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes or so sharing some very important industry information with you, and then we're going to continue with my first guest. Now, one thing to keep in mind about this or any workshop that you attend is that everyone has their own opinion. And there are very few absolutes in this industry. So if you hear conflicting opinions, it doesn't matter, or it doesn't mean that one is right or that one is wrong. Everyone has their own perspective, based on their personal experiences. So you simply need to listen, ask questions, and follow the path that's right for you. I also want to let you know that I've based my entire acting and modeling career, as well as my workshops and private consultations and everything else that I do, on a principle that I created many years ago. And it's called SHARE, and that's S-H-A-R-E. S is for getting started, H is for doing your homework, A is for getting an agent, R is the need to be resilient, and E is to enjoy everything you are doing. So today's summit is all about the S in SHARE, the starting point. And this is your first step to learning how to have the success you desire as an actor and or a model. And in the future, I'm going to discuss the H to help you with your homework assignment. I want you to know how much respect I have for all of you and for what you are all doing. And you have this thought, you have this dream, and you're actually following it and not just thinking about it. And I can't tell you how many people I meet who tell me they've always wanted to get into acting or modeling, but they simply couldn't pursue it before. And now they have so much going on in their lives that they simply couldn't or possibly do it. Those are the people who will always be haunted and have these nightmares of always wondering, what if? And every time they see a commercial or a TV show or an ad in a magazine, they will always be wondering if this is something they could have done. And that's just a tough way to go through life. And I can tell you what it really comes down to is that they don't have the strength that you have. People will come up with all types of reasons and excuses why they didn't go after their dream. And mostly, it's a matter of not having the courage that all of you have. Because even if after you attend this summit and you decide that this business isn't right for you, then I would still say congratulations, because you had this idea, you did great research, and you found it just didn't fit you well. And now you can put it to rest and move on to something else that really interests you. And I have found that the majority of the most successful people in any business are not necessarily the best at what they do, but they work harder than anyone else and feel passionate about what they're doing. And I can tell you, it's the passion that has allowed me to stay in this industry for over 26 years. And I still get excited whenever I book a job, no matter how big or small of a project. And I know what it's like to get started. It is so hard, especially if you're doing this on your own without much or any support. And there are many people in this industry who will not always be truthful with you and try to get you to pay for things that are not necessarily what you need or in your best interest. And I can tell you, when I first got started, I was a full-time college student, and I needed a job to pay for my living expenses. I met an actor, he told me what he did, and I thought, well, gosh, that sounds like fun. So for 2 years, I worked as an actor and a commercial model on a very part-time basis while I was a full-time college student. And after doing this for a couple of years, I decided I wanted to try this work full-time. Now, I gave myself 1 year, and I set some goals. Not how much money I'm going to make. That really wasn't a major factor for me. My number one goal is, or was, did I still enjoy the work as I'm trying to do this as a full-time job? The second goal, can I still get the work? And 3, could I handle being self-employed? And I can tell you, not having any kind of guarantee if money's going to be coming in is very, very hard for people. And that was back in 1986, and fortunately, that's what I've been doing since then. And I can tell you there are many people working as actors and models on a part-time basis, and they make their living outside the industry. So don't think that you've got to drop out of school and quit your job in order to work as an actor or a commercial model. And in many ways, it can make your life much more enjoyable not to have to depend on this work for your livelihood. It takes some of the pressure off. And as you will hear from some of the experts I will interview, you don't have to live in New York or LA in order to get some great, great acting and modeling jobs. Now, you've got to be very careful with the advice that you get. Before I began moving to larger markets for work, I had so many people tell me that I wouldn't be needed in New York, I wouldn't be desired in New York, why would they need me? They would tell me they already have 1 million people, working there who are very talented, why would they need this, this kid from Baltimore, Maryland? They already have thousands of talented actors there and models. And, I thank people for their concern, but what I found was that there are a lot of people in this world who simply, they just weren't brave enough to take that kind of chance for themselves. So basically, what they would do is they would try to discourage other people from going to New York and really fulfilling their dreams, because they didn't want to see anybody else to succeed either. And the thing was, I was okay with not getting work in New York if that's what happened. I mean, I was fortunate, and I did get an agent, and I've been working in New York since 1989. But even if I didn't get any work there, at least by having given it my best shot, done everything that I possibly could, once again, if it didn't work out, then I could say, well, you know what? At least I tried it, and it wasn't meant to be. But, like I said, I was very, very fortunate. This can be a scary business. I mean, basically, as an actor and a model, we are salespeople who are constantly selling themselves. And in most cases, we're being told, no, we don't want you. And that's why it's so important to understand that you can't take anything personally in this business. When you're not cast, for a particular project, it simply means that you were not the perfect person for this role. And I'm not saying that maybe you didn't do a very good job at the audition. Maybe you really need a lot more training. But what I can tell you is that booking or not booking a job is no statement or reflection about you as a person. Now, let me also just tell you a little bit about competition. Many people have asked me, why would I want to write a book? how to become a successful commercial model, give over 500 workshops in 4 countries, and offer private online consultations where essentially I'm teaching other people the secrets of my success. The success that's helped me book over 1,100 jobs. I mean, wouldn't I simply be creating more competition and hurting my chances for booking more jobs? And my answer is, they're right. That's exactly what I'm doing. And I have seen some people who have learned from me at the same auditions that I'm attending. But my feeling is this. I, like you, we have no competition in this world. And I'm not saying that because I think I'm such a, a crazy talented guy. I'm okay at what I do. I know what my strengths are. I know what I'm good at. But there are millions of people out there who are much, much more talented than me. They might not work as much as me. But the reason why I say that I have no competition, as you as well, is simply because we are not competing with anybody else. Everybody brings something special and unique to the table at every audition or go-see. And by the way, just so that you know, if you hear that term throughout the day, a go-see is the audition for models. It's kind of silly. I don't know why they call them go-sees, but essentially what it means is, because I think they don't think that models are very bright and we have to constantly be reminded what we're doing. That means you go to either a photographer studio or a casting facility and you're seen. So when you get a phone call about a go-see, you go and you're seen. It's an audition. But in either case, when you do go to the audition or the go-see, it's easy to feel competitive. It's easy to look around the room and start thinking, wow, that person has such a great look and that person's talking about all these jobs that they've done. But I can tell you, the quicker we stop competing and focusing on our own work, the quicker the success will begin. And that's why I decided to have a Facebook fan page. Now, let me also just say, I really don't like the term fan page because I don't have fans. I don't like the concept of fans. The reason why I've got this fan page is because it allows people to visit, hopefully click the like button and let other people know about it, and they can ask questions and they can write comments in order to help other actors and models. And essentially what I do is I'm building this incredible community of these wonderful people from literally around the world who want to help each other. Now, you will find that some people really don't like sharing, but I have found it a great way to run my business. I surround myself with people who really care about helping others. And I can tell you, there have been some people in this world who have been very kind to me and very helpful, and I love the idea of sharing my experiences with others. So please make sure you join my acting and modeling family on the fan page. You can see the link at the bottom of this slide. It's just facebook.com/how-to-model, and click the like button so you can share it with others. And I also share information on the forum page of my site, howtomodel.com. But as you begin or continue in this industry, it's also important to carefully run your career as a business. And some people think that they should just be discovered and there's no need to spend money on educating themselves. And I think that some people have this idea because they see how some people have become famous through reality shows. And yeah, I mean, that does happen. But you'll find that there are a very small number of those people who can sustain a career from that kind of experience. So being successful is being well prepared, working very hard, and making sure that you place yourself to be in the right position at the right time, in the right place at the right time, and then be able to produce when called upon. So as far as business decisions go, part of running a business is to decide what jobs are right and good for you to accept and what jobs should be turned down. And I can tell you, I've never accepted or turned down a job based on money. And as crazy as that sounds for someone who makes their living as an actor and a commercial model, how much I'm being paid is really the least of my thoughts when accepting a booking. Some of the best and most helpful jobs I've ever come across have happened through either free jobs that I've done or from very small paying jobs. And especially when you're first getting started, it's essential that you get experience. Take great classes. That can be really helpful to you. And you also need to be able to get the training and then put what you've learned into practice. You know, what you've learned through the classes or from the books that you've read. And I have 3 goals for every audition that I attend. And this is all part of my business plan. My number 1 goal is not booking the job, which once again sounds a little weird for somebody who's making their living at this. And maybe by not having that as my number 1 goal, that helps take some of the pressure off when I go to auditions and go-sees, because I'm not concerned about, oh, I've got to book this job. I really want this job. My number 1 goal is to enjoy myself. Now, I can tell you that sometimes if I've traveled 3, 4, 5, 6, I've gone 7 hours sometimes for an audition or a go-see. Sometimes the traveling is not so enjoyable, but the minute, the 2 minutes, the 4 minutes I might have in the actual audition, that's when I want to enjoy myself. Number 2, I want to learn from the experience. And sometimes I walk out of an audition or a go-see and I think, you know what? I prepared, I did exactly what I wanted to do, it felt right to me, and it was a good day at work. Now, I've also learned through my experience that having a great audition and booking the job quite often have very little to do with each other. But my goal is to do what I plan to do and also potentially make the changes that are asked of me at the audition. And then if I walk out of there and I think, oh, I wish I would have done this, this, or this, I'll make a note of it and hopefully I can incorporate it for my next audition. And the third goal, if I happen to book the job, to me that's icing on the cake, but that's not my number 1 priority. But let me get back to turning down jobs and running your business. Now, I've only turned down a couple of jobs in my entire life. And one of them was, it was a great ad campaign. It was one that I hoped would be incredibly successful because it was a very important one. I just didn't want to do it. And the whole concept of this ad campaign was dealing with child abuse. And the main premise was, you've got to be very careful out there because normally when you think of a child abuser, you think of very scary, evil, frightening looking people. Well, the sad reality is that anybody can be a child abuser, even a nice, friendly guy like me. And if you look at your monitor, you see a nice, friendly guy. And that was the guy they wanted to portray, a child abuser. Now, at that time period, my son Jeremy and my daughter Jen, they were very young, and I was a little concerned about having my face plastered across the United States on billboards being a child abuser. I mean, part of the reason was I didn't want my kids' friends to be saying, boy, Mr. Marcus seems like such a nice guy. I can't believe, he beats his kids. That's part of it, but I realized people in the industry get it. It's a commercial model, although sometimes they do hire real people, but for the most part, people would get it. But from a business point of view, I've done ads for Crayola crayons. I work with kids. I've done ads for Toys R Us, Parents Magazine. Well, even if people get it that I'm not really a child abuser, if my face is connected with that kind of ad, well, that might hurt my chances for more work with children. The other thing, too, is I know some actors and models who will not do ads for very specific products. It might be furs, meat products, alcohol, cigarettes, gambling. They won't do lottery ads. It's against their beliefs. The important thing is you must stick to your convictions and make sure that you are comfortable before accepting any booking that's offered to you. And if you don't want to be associated or support a product or a company, tell your agent up front. You don't want to be in a situation where you attend a go-see or the audition, book the job, and then call your agent back and say, I've been thinking about it, and I really don't think I want to do this. I'm a strict vegetarian, and this is for a fast food restaurant, and they're promoting eating meat. It makes you look bad. It also makes the agent look bad, because if that happens enough times, then the producers, the advertising agencies, the casting directors, the photographers, they're going to stop calling the agent. So Your agent might not be thrilled that you turned down the audition or the go-see, but you are much, much better off telling them up front and being honest with them than flip-flopping and changing your mind. So, as we're getting started today, please keep my share principle in the back of your mind and know that you are taking the first step in helping yourself achieve the success you desire. And although this is going to be a very, very tight day time-wise, if we can, feel free to ask questions. I will try to answer as many of them as possible. But I just want to personally say, I just want to thank you all for making this such a special day for me.